Welcome everybody, it's Poland and Angola to kick us off in the first game on game day 1 of the FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament here in Kaunas in Lithuania. And what a prospect the next few days are going to be in this cutthroat structure that sees only the winner make it to Tokyo. So a European-African clash to get us underway. And the great news is fans are in the arena filling up slowly for game 1 on this first day of action. As Poland and Angola kick us off, and then I think there might be just a few more people in the arena when Lithuania face Venezuela at 7:30 local time here in the basketball city, here in Lithuania. And there's the FIBA World Rankings with Poland at 13, Slovenia at 16, and Angola at 33. And you can throw those away right now because what it comes down to is one-off games and teams getting it right on the day to get the victory. Just going to get into individual player introductions. With me is Mark Mills. Mark, we've been a long time away from a sideline, and this, for me, is what it's all about. Great basketball on the sideline, and with a lot to play for.
Yeah, phenomenal to be back and phenomenal to be in a city and a country that basketball just runs through its veins. Exciting few days ahead of us. And like you say, the world rankings, the form book, rip it up, throw it away. You just don't know. There's going to be some real stars that shine over the next few days, and any of them can potentially lead their country to the Olympics.
Well, Angola qualified for the Olympic Qualifying Tournament as one of the highest ranked teams from the region of Africa. And their preparation, according to the organization, according to coach Carlos, has gone particularly well. So they look really relaxed in practice that we've seen. But with the anchor, Janik Maria, and the veteran Eduardo Mingos and Dos Santos, the 3 players who played in the FIBA World Cup, they have experience, talent, and more importantly, Mark, nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. They come in as with no expectations, no real pressures on their shoulder. We've seen over the last couple of days a really relaxed Angolan team. But if the best versions of those players turn up, they're absolutely in with a chance.
Well, Poland being introduced, one of the success stories of European basketball over the last few years as they try and get back to an Olympic Games since the first time since '88. And under coach Mike Taylor, this team has made huge strides. 8th place in the World Cup sees them qualify for this qualification tournament, and they're just a fun team to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, a phenomenal team to watch, and it's all about unity. You know, we've talked about it. Coach Taylor has this wonderful ability to reduce the pressure on his team and enable them to perform.
Okay, we'll be back after the national anthems of both countries, and we'll start with Angola. And now the national anthem of Poland. Nothing like the national anthems to just add to the expectation and the feeling and tension of any national team basketball game. So just 3 minutes away from tip. Here's the third team on the floor, the three officials, Mr. Fernandez, Mazzoni, and Becker from Argentina, Italy, and Australia, respectively, take charge of game one. And as always, I'll make that comment that their teamwork as important as the two teams in uniforms on the floor. So Mark, this tie's intriguing. It's always, when you get into a world competition, as you see the starting lineup for Angola, the matchups are key.
Yeah, absolutely, without a shadow of doubt. We're looking at the Angolan starting five. Moreira's going to be critical to that. If the Moreira that we love turns up, they're in with a real big shout of doing something within this tournament, but the inconsistency sometimes lets him down. But ultimately, they've also got a relatively young roster. You know, Moreira is key for them. He started really showing out in the World Cup last year, but the age of their roster, if you take Mingash out, is actually below 26 years of age. Really, really young.
Well, 42 does add to your average age.
It certainly does.
And Jose Carlos Canales, the Spanish head coach, Pep, apparently to his friends, and we love to count everybody as our friend here, has got a task here, because the thing you have to deal with Poland is the just absolute team ethic that they put on the floor. We're going to get a look at the starting lineup for Poland, and just a tremendous performance in the World Cup. And obviously now with Captain Panika, this team has got quality.
Yeah, obviously, you know, the duo of Panika and Slaughter in that backcourt, it's tough to think of a better duo that we're going to see this week. Very, very dynamic, can absolutely score in a hurry, and they're comfortable in the half court. They're quite happy to run if they need to, but they're comfortable in the half court. Captain Panika today is 50th cap as well, so a real milestone for him. I'm sure he's really proud to hit that half century of caps for his country.
Sometimes you forget, you know, he was one of those 19-year-olds in a breakout Eurobasket in 2013, and look at him now. He's a leading player on our EuroLeague team, and he's just leading his country to what he hopes will be a march to Tokyo.
Yeah, absolutely. He's important, but the great thing they've got is they've got pieces that come around him as well. Starting five, obviously, we saw Balcerowski featured as well, 20-year-old big guy. Again, is this the chance for him to really shine, to take a bigger role within this Polish team, and gives them a very different dynamic than maybe we've seen in previous versions of the Polish team?
Well, Coach Mike Taylor has, I don't think it's an overstatement to say he has just transformed this Polish national team. Angola with 5 appearances in the Olympic tournament, not many recently, but they were the flag bearers for African basketball for so long, and that's where they want to get back to. And back to that Olympic tournament. It's a tough ask. This is a phenomenal tournament, and every single one of these teams is going to be big. Their last appearance was in the 80 Olympics in Moscow. They played in that one as a replacement team. They took advantage of the political crises at the time. And in recent years, again, under Coach Taylor, they've been building. Their performance in the World Cup was nothing short of exceptional. And I think they believe, with no pressure on them, they have a real shot at causing an upset in many people's minds. But as a team, they really do know how to perform. Mark, for me, control of tempo is going to be key in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Angola, they'll want to push the tempo. They want run and gun. They want it a lot more loose. They want that free-flowing style of basketball. And I'm sure Coach Taylor has told his team, particularly the likes of Slaughter, one of your biggest roles today, yes, we want you to score the ball, but you need to control how fast, where we're playing this game. And whichever team in the early stages dominates that tempo, I think will probably hold the lead early on.
Okay, they're just moments away from the game one of the FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament. So welcome everybody to Kaunas. Angola in the black uniform, Poland in the white, and AJ Slaughter will get Poland into the half court. And we've got a quick whistle away from the basketball, and it's a push. And
I think that signals their intention straight away. It was straight on Panika. They want to put him off his stride. They know that he is going to be critical to Poland coming with a win today. If they can get under his skin maybe early on, that could cause a problem.
The inbound pressure released. Poland with a ball movement. Panika on a penetration. Wide open kick. The open three is short. Great work on the glass, and we got a whistle on the play. Belorowski just going to work the big man.
And this is something that Poland haven't had in previous iterations of their roster. They've always had the ability to move the ball well, to get open jumpers, but they had to make that jumper. They didn't necessarily have a legitimate five crashing the offensive glass. And maybe that's why we see Belorowski, you know, in the starting five ahead of more experienced names like Kulik.
That's a great point, and the foul on Gloflati Buwamba. And always good to get the scoreboard ticking over. And Coach Taylor christens Belorowski the Bird, and the Bird gets off to a flying start with 2 for 2 from the line. And Poland settle those nerves, get the 2-0 start, and Angola get their first look at it at the offensive end. Poland are going to play inside the three-point line, but the quick release on the three is no good. And comes down with the defensive rebound and brings it. Allowed the middle penetration, little step back to the left hand is no good, but it comes down with the defensive rebound, and Angola want to push. And they've got good spacing, they're going to go low early. Moreira's going to have to be effective here. Tries to back in, gets to the middle, goes up, little jumper is good.
And that's the start they wanted. They wanted to settle his nerves. Interesting on the defensive end, though, that they're matching up Sel with Moreira. So they're obviously, Poland are clearly making that decision that they maybe want to hold Belorowski more for the offensive end of things.
Well, they go with a lob from Slaughter, got a whistle on it, and that'll be the second foul on Buwamba. And late on the help, yes, but a little ticky-tacky, should we say, but right across the forearm. And Belorowski is a real focal point in the early possessions for Poland. End-line possession, Slaughter has it. Ponika will open the floor. It's going to come back to the pick and roll, and we've got a kick ball. The last thing Angola need, Mark, is early foul trouble, because it's really going to take them away from their style they say they want to put on the floor defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, if we're saying they want to play high tempo, you don't want players sitting on the bench that you can't rotate in and use that energy throughout the 40 minutes. You know, limiting your rotation is the last thing that Coach Claris wants.
Ponika will open it up. Slaughter recovers it, gets his feet set, puts up the three, and counts the three from deep. And if Slaughter gets going, that's not a great sign for Angola. Real nice stroke on the quick release on the three off the bit of a scramble. Remember, with the long three to answer is no good, and Slaughter has a chance to run, looks up, gives it up early. Ponika on the drive, doesn't get the two, but the ball will stay with Angola, and it stays with Angola because the most effective player on the floor at the beginning of the game, Belorowski, just ran the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. On the Angolan offense, though, it's interesting. They're taking very early options. They're not trusting anything in their half court at all at the moment.
But if this goes down, wow, from the three-point line, the Bird, as coach calls him, Belorowski has taken it to the ring and gets the two, gets to the free throw line, now just strokes the three.
Yeah, Belorowski shot under 10% from outside in the World Cup.
That probably means that's the one he's going to make, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we may see another 9 that don't look so pretty.
But that looked good, but good work on the offensive glass by Moreira. Gets the two to tick. Nice pass! And at the moment, Belorowski touches the basketball, and good things happen. Beautiful feed. And Aaron Sel just finished with a lot of style and aggression. And Poland with a superstar. Slaughter lines up the three in transition. Count it. 13-4. And Pep Karalos will take the timeout. And Poland at the gates quick, early, and great. They lead it 13-4. Timeout Angola.
Depois, a ver, No está mal que están ellos a lanzar muy fácil porque primero hay que negar línea de pase. No se nega pase, 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 muy fácil. Muy fácil. En ataque, no repites 3 veces misma jugada. ¿Sí? Siguiente jugada, vamos a jugar fruta. Joga en zona o no, juegas fruta. Importante, extremo recibe bola. Cuidado si negan, portas atrás. ¿Sí? Después de fruta, vamos a buscar pick and pop bolas dentro. Mingas, bola llegó dentro, poste bajo, Edson, directo poste bajo. Hay que negar línea de pase lá, Hay que negar línea de pase. ¿Cierto? Vamos.
Well, Mark, how many times did we hear the word pass during that timeout? I mean, they've come down the floor, as you said, one pass, one shot, and out. One pass, one shot, and out. And if they don't spend time with the basketball, I think Poland's efficiency going the other way is going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw it in their training sessions. A lot of what they focused on was just getting reps up, getting shots up. They weren't focusing necessarily on the team movement, the team dynamic on the offensive end. And we're kind of seeing that straight away. It's one-on-one. They're trying to just create space and then, for themselves rather than working together. Whereas Poland are the absolute antithesis of that.
Well, in the half court, coming out the timeout, you're going to want them to spend time with the basketball. Mingas trying to bring that experience, but they still have to settle for the tough three, but they fill it up from deep. And Dos Santos just dropped the three, and he's not shy from the three-point line. Slaughter will hand it off, but Poland don't open it. They'll stay down that side, but now Ponika on the dribble. Balcerowski dives, drops the bounce pass inside out. Slaughter's going to have to put this one up. They take the step back three, is short. That's a great defensive series by Angola.
Much better. And it all started with a change up on the defensive matchup for Panitka. Instead of Bawamba, they were bringing across Dos Santos, and his footwork was far superior. He was able to stay in front and cause Panitka a problem.
Again, coming out that timeout, they made more passes in those last 2 possessions than they have in the early 3.5 minutes of this game. And Morea on the post-up, which they haven't used so far. Balcerowski had to reach round. He picks up the personal. That's the first foul for Poland. Bastos drops it inside, but turns it over. And Poland are off to the races. They don't like the numbers, so they'll recycle. Slaughter will set them in the half court. AJ Slaughter, just a quality guard. Takes it on the floor, gets to the foul line, drops it off. Sobolowski for 3 is no good. And the last 2 possessions, Angola have kept everything in front of them. Now on the break, the early 3 is good. And feeding off the defense. And Edson Ondinima just drops the 3. And that's a great reaction from the timeout. 13-10, Poland have it. And Moraz going to pick up the foul. Acknowledges the referee, gives him a little fist pump, and
it's interesting. We're seeing Angola almost turn the tables on Poland. We were saying and expecting Poland obviously to shoot the lights out, and really the reason that Angola have been able to get back into this is they've actually found a little bit of form. But let's be honest, it's all stemmed from the confidence they've got that they've played defense. Yep. The intensity's gone up, they've stayed in front of them, and Poland have, not had it all their own way on the offensive end.
Absolutely. Shrosky moves it on. Poland will skip. Slaughter just with a touch pass. Ponika puts it on the floor. Little finger roll in the lane is no good. Balcerowski with the offensive rebound and the putback. And announce yourself on the world stage at a world tournament, and he's already done it inside the first 5 minutes. Angola again settle for the quick 3, and in rhythm, they just fill it up. And back-to-back threes for Ndomya. Ndomya has just been, well, what an impact for him off the bench. Poland in the half court. Slaughter will go pick and roll. Balcerowski is getting a touch pretty much every possession. Nice pass. And Ponika just blew the little bunny. Well, is there a part of the stat line that Balcerowski's not on?
No, I think even if you delved into the deeper stats, kind of, you'd find him in ticking every box within the box score. And Angola need to identify this. Obviously, he's done a great job there as we see him taking the charge. Moreira really not aware of the people around him on the floor where he needs to be. But if I'm Angola, I'm putting the ball into Mariega's hands every time Balcerowski's guarding him. I want to try and draw the fouls off him. He's the big guy that's causing us problems. Let's at least tire him out. Let's make him work on the defensive end.
Well, Poland with the 15-13 advantage, 4:40 to go in quarter one. And you know what? From that timeout, Dos Santos' help then just took away the backdoor cut. And it's a completely different Angola team coming out of that timeout at the defensive end, Mark.
Yeah, it really feels that way. I don't know what Coach Pep got across in that timeout particularly, but it's worked well. They've come out with much more intensity and a much more team focus on the defensive end. They're not just matching up, they're willing to help and rotate much quicker than they were before.
Dos Santos gets Angola to the second side of the floor. Bastos, better ball movement this time, little pick and pop action. They get nothing from it though. And that's going to be a back court. And the tempo slow, and Angola struggled as Damien Kulig checks into the game. Well, he's a veteran now, 34 years old. He steps in for Gal Sokolowski.
Yeah, Kulig, one of those iconic kind of faces. When you think of Polish basketball, you certainly think of Kulig. And the impact that he has, it really brings a tenacity and a kind of energy, particularly on the defensive end.
Slaughter, and he's going to go to the free throw line. And Dos Santos had him at the halfway line, had him mid-court, didn't necessarily need to go for too much. And that's Slaughter just recognizing, getting the foul, goes to the free throw line.
And the thing is, they don't need to overcommit at that stage. Defensively, you don't need to overcommit. They've shown that the changes they've made have had the impact that they needed. And, you know, it's almost getting a little bit ahead of yourself, too excited that things are going your way on the defensive end, and too much emphasis.
And Adam Chinook checks in. Another one of this sort of veteran stage Polish guys that have been retained within the program by Coach Taylor, the 37-year-old. And he just, well, physically just confronts the opponent.
He's just one of those guys that every roster wants. You absolutely, you know, he's not a star, doesn't need the ball in his hands. He'd quite happily play the entire game without touching the ball. That's not his remit. And every roster loves those guys. He really does make a difference.
Dos Santos. You still like the ball to touch the inside a little bit more here for Angola. And yet another three is short, chance to run, and off the missed three, it really does enable Poland to get into transition. Slaughter looks at his options, gives it up. Kulig will move it back to Ponitko, finds Slaughter. Slip on the screen, they miss. Nice little duck in. There's going to be a 3-second call. And Angola did a good job at stopping the initial and secondary break there. Forced Poland back into the half court.
Yeah, Bango did well. He initially lost that positioning. He enabled Reshenuk to get a good low post, but then he re-established himself, and with that large wingspan, was able to interfere. What he needs to do now, Bango, is have an impact on the offensive end. Poland are slightly smaller.
Dos Santos will reverse the basketball. Gaku Juk joins the action. Gets it on a little pick and pop. He lines up the three. Well, there's definitely no restriction on who shoots the three for Angola. I mean, we watched practice, and maybe we were the guys who got it wrong, because they literally spent the whole of practice just shooting the basketball. And early rotations for both teams as Ponitko will sit. Kosakalik will check in, the veteran. And we've settled into a basketball game now, 16-13, 3 minutes to go in the first. Big second step, little hang time for two is good.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Bango now can come in and he can actually have an impact. Poland are smaller, they've not got their big center in place, so it's time for him to try and dominate the paint.
Bango with a good finish off the good second step. Kulig gets it down low, fills the double team, needs to pass. Good ball move coming out of it, and then the foul just ruins the excellent defense that Angola had played until that point.
But I find that interesting that they felt they needed to double team down into Kulig. He's not proved that he can back his man down. He's not shown that he's got the beating of him. Are they really saying they're doubling down to steal the ball? And that kind of caused them the problem in the rotation.
I think you might be spot on with the, I think it's more, as you say, a reaction to try and generate a turnover as opposed to being concerned about Kulik in the low block. Free throw is missed, and apart from the foul count, obviously that helps the cause as Halak. Shalak with the second of the three throws, makes that. And the top scorer in the Bundesliga in Germany opens his account, and Poland back to the 2-point advantage. Gaku will keep the ball moving. It's much better when Angola keeps the ball moving. Penetration, the off-balance shot, the battle on the glass, and Poland will recover it, but Angola hang around. Miguel comes down with it, and they have to fire it up from deep and knock down the three. And at the moment, it's like throwing in the ocean for Angola. And Bastos joins the three-point party, and we've got a 1-point Angola lead. Game gets a little frantic for Poland. The tempo have had to increase it because of the Angolan defense. The three is way short. Great work on the glass. And as you called it, Aranchuk gets the two by just outworking his opponent.
Yeah, it purely came down to that as well. It was just the fact that he'd established himself, and Angolan hadn't done a good enough job defensively to push him away.
Interesting for me at the moment, that Angolan bench after the really hesitant start, you know, they've made a few threes and their defense has been effective, and they're in the game now.
Yeah, and you talk about the guys also sitting on the bench, the energy they're now starting to bring. They're starting to, you know, cheer from the sidelines, and you live by the three, you die by the three, but at the moment, Angola are absolutely reigning.
Whistle on it. So Coach Taylor goes deeper into his rotation early in this one as Garbach checks in. 1:50 to go in quarter one, and Angola getting into this now, really trying to increase the intensity, increase the tempo of it, pick it up full court. And they use the lighthouse down the middle. Kazarek penetrates, Kulig lines up, takes, and rims it in and out.
Unbelievably, both teams have used 10 players already in this first quarter. You know, that's a huge amount of rotation, but obviously they're looking at the long picture as well for the whole tournament. They want to make sure people are getting minutes early.
Little pick and pop. They like the pick and pop action. Penetration. And the two is no good, but it's going to be 2 free throws for Gaku. Does a great job to control the contact and get the two away, but he's going to step to the free throw line and have to earn them from the stripe. So this Angolan team now, as we said, growing into this. I don't think Coach Taylor will be overly concerned. He talked a lot about the quality of the opponent that they were going to be playing here. Free throw is missed.
Yeah, they're struggling from the line at the moment, Angola. It's not going their way, and if they're going to do all this hard work on the offensive end, expend all this energy and not convert the free throws, it's going to be tough for them to come away with the win.
So with 1:27 to go in quarter one, we've got a new ball game at 19 apiece. And again, the pressure beat with just a flash to the middle. And without Slaughter on the floor in particular, they're having to work Poland to get into the half court. Here's Kazarek, again, all over the passing lanes, Angola. It's impressive. Kazarek down to 5 on the shot clock. He's going to have to create something for himself. Opens it up, kick to the corner for the open three is good.
And that's always the pressure relief fouls for Poland, right? They can create, they get all of this pressure, and you're frustrated defensively because you think you've done so well, but you've left one player on the perimeter, and pretty much the entire Polish roster can shoot from range.
Absolutely. Gaku penetrates, kicks, the open three is short, and Kulik just holds his space. And the foul called. And as no one's wandering around, everyone's going to take the slow walk down the floor as the foul's going to be called on Abu Gaku, but Kulik is a little like the immovable object against the force there. He just would not move and held his space. On the free throw line, Damian Kulik, as you said, one of the iconic.
Yeah, he just comes in and gets the job done. Played just about 20 minutes at the World Cup per game in 2019, averaged just shy of 9 points, over 4.5 rebounds a game. And he is one of those guys where I guarantee you look at the end of the box score, consistent night after night after night. He might have the odd big game, but most of the time he's just giving you, you know exactly what you're getting from him. There's no inconsistency. And from Coach Taylor's point of view, kind of what you want.
Absolutely. Well, Kulik goes 2 for 2. Poland answer pressure with pressure of their own. Trying to force Angola to get into the last part of the shot clock, which they've managed to do. Miguel, nowhere to go, moves it on. Kulik steps in, takes away the lane, doesn't reach, and Poland will hold for the last shot of the first quarter, 24-19. And Zarek with 10 seconds remaining will take the Kulik screen. Gets to the middle, drops it inside, and the mishandle. Well, everything was right apart from the catching of the pass. The halfway line shot is no good, and that'll do it for quarter one. And what a great start. FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament here in Kaunas. At the end of one, Poland have a 24-19 scoreline, and this is already living up to expectations.
Yeah, an awesome first quarter of basketball to start us off. And you look at some of the stats, and let's be honest, I don't think we were expecting to see Angola with 4 made threes in that first quarter. That's what's kept it really close and so competitive. Exciting game ahead.
All right. Coach Taylor talking it over his assistants. And let's take a look at the best plays from the first quarter, Mark. And it was almost to script at the start because Poland were in control. They ran their stuff and they got good looks.
Yeah, exactly what we talked about at the start. You know, AJ Slaughter here picking up a bit of a scrappy ball, but collected himself, nothing but net for the three. And it was really the 1-2 punch between himself and Balcerowski that really was the key for Poland in those early stages. When we were seeing starting 5 against starting 5, Poland was certainly showing their credibility, their strength. But once we had that timeout, there was a switch flipped for Angola on the defensive end. You know, yes, their offense progressed, but it's on the defensive end where the intensity enabled them to spark an offense and to gain confidence and to gain a footing in the game.
Well, that's, I think Coach Taylor had to respond. Angola got that great response coming out of that timeout. It's easy when you make some threes. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, you know, we made some threes, we're back into it. But for me, their defensive effort after that was tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, the threes is what we'll see on that highlight reel, and you'll see it after the game. But it really was, you know, the defensive intensity that changed things up.
One of the things that younger players have to learn is, you know, the art of communication with officials. We saw Yannick Morea give the referee a little fist pump after a call, and then he's walking back on the floor, has a little conversation, explains what he needs, and he's fully expecting now to the referee to have listened to that and give him a little help and love on the inside, because he needs a bit of help, because at the moment he is really the only post-up option that Angola has. Let's see if they give him more touches at the start of this second quarter. And Dos Santos, who was exceptional in the first half, takes the ball screen. And Morea's going to dive, needs a touch right now, doesn't get it. They fire up the three and it's off. A great box out, Poland a chance to run. They have numbers down the floor, but Angola's defensive transition right up there. Zarek has a look at his options, takes the ball screen, moves it on. Zarek goes inside, little floater for 2 is good. And the one thing you can be sure about Mikhail Michalek is he can score, average over 20 points a game in the Bundesliga, led all scorers in that league. And let's be fair, there's a hell of a lot of talent in that league that can shoot the basketball. Tough lean away 2 is no good. And I think Kulik going to be out of bounds and the ball will stay with Angola. He came from out of bounds. And This looks a little bit too like Angola at the beginning of the game for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking exactly the same. They might not want to slow the game down, but in this situation, you've got Moreira, who's your go-to big. Against Kulik, you'd hope that Moreira has the foot speed on Kulik. Has the ability to draw some fouls, make some contact, and get himself into the game, because he has to get into the game if they want to come away with the win.
Yeah, and you don't have to slow down, you know, to give him the ball. Just give him the ball. Open three is short. Great work on the glass. That's, if you can't get it, just keep control of it. And Poland did hit the second side early. Kasarek has it. Kulik will ball screen and dive. Nice find. Easy two for Damian Kulik, and that's just great execution by the Poles.
But this is the unity we're talking around as well. Kasarek came around that screen and he almost didn't have to look. He knew Kulik would have flashed to the basket. They played together so many times in the Polish jersey.
Pick and pop again, which is pretty staple at the moment for Angola. Moreira will dive, and that's where he needs a touch of the ball, regardless of whether that goes or not, but it goes.
But he also needs to be more aggressive with establishing himself. At the moment, he's flashing way too far away from the basket. He needs to draw physical contact with Kulik and establish himself in that low post. Demand the ball, and you'll get it. The guards will be forced to give him the ball.
Sell puts it on the floor and kicks. Kasarek has to create on the dribble. So, and we got a whistle on the play with a travel as Mikhail Michalek almost tried to buy the foul. Didn't get it. Great defensive control by Angola. Sort of leans in and wants the foul and then travels as he tries to put it on the floor. And Ndomyemi just, it's what this team can do. If they extend their defense, they really can take you out of what you want to run. Bastos and Dos Santos combining in the backcourt. And maybe not the right option to go bounce pass to Yannick Moreira in traffic, but the fact they're looking there is a good sign, and Pep and Carlos will, I assume, recognize that. Sideline possession, Bastos will inbound. Moreira, is he going to go to work here? Tries to back in Kulik, tries to get to the middle. Kulik has a little stab at it. Moreira has to take the long two, doesn't get it to go.
But this is what I was talking about with Moreira. He has to establish himself close to the basket. He doesn't want to have to try and back down the tree trunk that is Damian Kulik. You're not going to be able to do that. That's not the battle he'll win.
Zarek again. Backs it out, waits for the Kulik screen. He's going to slip the screen, gets it there on the short roll to the corner. The open three from the corner is short. Defensive rebound by the veteran Eduardo Mingas. And he breaks the halfway line, and Moreira will hand off. No second invitation required for the three, and yet another early free for Ndomyemi. And you're right, Mark, it is a little bit live and die by the three-point shot. And while they're staying and hanging around at 6 down, anything could happen. Kulik on the penetration, kicks it out. Sell with a three is no good. I'm not sure which of these teams is going to be more confident in a three-point shootout.
Yeah, it's not a game Angola want to get into, and ultimately that three will dry up and will stop at some point, and they need to have made sure that they've kind of oiled the other parts of the machine before that's the case. They need to make sure that they've got some contribution from inside, and at the moment that's not the case. They're just relying, they're skirting around the outside, they're not making particularly strong drives to the basket or anything back to the basket. So from my point of view, Angola need to try and move away from the three being their sole focus.
Well, Balcerowski checks back in, as does AJ Slaughter. What a tough one-footer. Is no good. Great follow. Super follow by Yannick Moreira. Nobody put a body on him. And he gets the two on the putback and makes it a 4-point game.
That could be a big confidence booster for him as well. It'd be interesting to see the battle now between those two bigs with Balcerowski in.
Slaughter needs a pass, gets it back. Tries to turn the corner. Looks for a little contact, little floater in the lane for two. And I think you could call that awareness.
Yeah, real heads-up smart play, but exactly the play that we see time and time again from Slaughter.
Luamba. Nice pass. Moreira goes to the far side of the ring, comes up with a weak shot, looks at the official, gets nothing. Shalek is going to be fouled as he pushed hard in transition. And Mingas. Eduardo Mingas, now 42 years old. That's just a phenomenal performance to keep your body in the type of shape it needs to be to play national team basketball.
109th cap today. It's just unbelievable. And you want to treasure these moments when you see someone that's so iconic within a national basketball team. How many more tournaments are we going to see him? Realistically, is this the last time, if they don't make it through to the Olympics, that we see him don the national team jersey?
One of the 3 players on this Angola team that played in that China World Cup that was just a phenomenal event. AJ Slaughter drops it a little sweetly, should we say, with the quick-looking bounce pass, but it got kicked away. So he will retain possession on the baseline. Ostrovsky with the screen, he'll step to release it. Slaughter's going to come and take the hand off, but dives in on the read, gets in the foul line for 2 is good, and took the hit, had the body control, and a great touch on the shot.
And Angola now seem determined to try and deny Slaughter possession, and I'm not sure that's something, 1, they're going to be capable of doing, and 2, you know, it's going to have the impact they want it to have.
A lot of activity above the foul line. Now they drop it into Morea. Tries to go to work in the block, steps to the middle, goes with the left hand, draws the contact, and will go to the free throw line. And I think that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, all day long. We talked about it. He's going to have the foot speed on Balcerowski. Use it. Get yourself established nice and low, front, and then just go at him. He's picked up the 2nd foul now, Balcerowski, as well. That could play. You know, there's still 25 minutes of action to go, and that's their main big.
Morea, another stellar season in the Basketball Champions League for AEK Athens. .75% free throw shooter in that competition. And the first one.
Just jinxed him.
Well, 75, he's going to miss some.
That's true. That's true. We'll give him that.
It's not like he's never missed a free throw until that one. He's one of those guys that he shows up every week in a really tough league, in a really tough competition, as the Basketball Champions League in Europe goes from strength to strength, but goes over from the free throw line. And AJ Slaughter will advance the basketball. I'm with you on that, Mark. I'm not sure that trying to go after AJ Slaughter is necessarily the right option.
Stay in front of him.
Breaks it down, blocks it to the open 3 is good. And there's a great example of what you're talking about. If you go after him too much, he will break you down and pick the open spot. Now Panitka's back in the game as well. There's a lot of firepower outside him. Draws 3 people on that penetration. Panitka's wide open.
And that's the problem. If you overcommit and he beats you, your team have got to help. And if they're helping, guess what? They're helping from the wings. Yeah. And Panitka's wide open for that shot. If you're facing Slaughter, just stay in front of him. No more. That's all you need to do.
Well, let's take a listen to coach.
Pick and roll, que es lo que sabemos que van a hacer, y estar a buscar a esquina, ¿no es? Todo rato mesmo. Entonces, lo primero que vamos a tener que defender es menos bloqueo directo. Eles como están aquí a trabalhar a bola. ¿Cómo están? Casi al límite de la falta. No pitan ni más falta de él, mas eles están a trabalhar a bola. No puede ser. Aquí ya, una vez cae, la otra, se uno fuerte y parar la situación de 1 contra 1. Hay que parar la situación de 1 contra 1. Y después, estos 2 jugadores, estamos cada vez aquí, cuando grande, ainda no está pasando el rol. Entonces, es importante, 1, 2, tenemos que llegar, no es los 2 y encima llegamos tarde. Tenemos que llegar a la... Con ataque, primera jugada ahora, primera jugada, jugamos Aníbal contra zona o contra hombre a hombre. Aníbal, más o bloqueo es así, Yannick, no para otro lado.
It's going to be an important 5 minutes now for Angola, really, because you're at this kind of turning point. An 11-point lead is neither too big or you can't consider it small. They really want to crack into a single-digit deficit before the half, at least. That would be the target, I'm sure, that Coach Pep has put in front of them.
Wow, they're going up against a team that, under Taylor, Poland have really established a lot of experience in global and continental championships. Eight of these guys played in the World Cup for Poland. So as you said, people are growing within the organization, within the structure. You know, Balcerowski is a great point. He's still only 20. You know, he's 18, 19 in the World Cup, and now he's, you know, he's much more an established member and announcing himself on this sort of stage. And they're building things around him as they have it in the half court. Open three is short. Defensive rebound is collected. And almost a backcourt and turned over. That's just sloppy. The veteran Mingas wasn't really expecting. Oh, what a block. Wemba recovers and gets it, and Angola have a chance to just make up for that little sloppiness around the halfway line. Just on the athleticism and effort of Wemba. Well, Santos pulls the trigger from the three-point line, and they're just all over the glass, and Mingas can't control it, but Poland knock it away. And Angola, there's the block. There's a lot of people, the photographers in the gym will have a lot of pictures of that. Absolutely clean on the top of the basketball. And they've thrown it away again and undoing the effort defensively by 2 sloppy turnovers, pretty much back-to-back by Angola. And it's these sorts of moments that Poland are going to try and exploit.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a basic, right? The angle of the pass, just kind of across, neither trying to get it into the low post, neither coming out to the top. You know, your teammates don't know what they're expecting from that kind of pass and where they're supposed to be. But the one thing we saw in the last play, though, how great was it to see Angola crash those offensive boards so hard? And that's going to be important. If they're going to keep relying on the three, they need to make sure they're picking up some scraps.
Slaughter, feet set, just nothing but string. Stroked it in rhythm. And that opens it out to a 14-point Poland lead. And it is a little bit deja vu as Angola suffer and struggle at the offensive end. Poland just capitalizing. Morea spins to the middle, in the lane for 2, is fouled, and Kulik picks up the personal. Morea will have to earn them from the free-throw line.
As much as Morea might have, you know, shown some struggles from the free-throw line, that's a much better option for them. You know, it's going to give them confidence that they're in this game and that they can take it to Poland rather than just hoping and praying they get a slight half-open 3 attempt. So it's great to see Moreira starting to get some confidence and his team starting to feed him the ball.
Moreira does a little bit of coaching for his teammates about, look, when I got my feet like this, I need it on this side of the body. And because if he gets the half step, as you say, his foot speed will be really a tough ask for anybody on that Polish front line that's trying to guard him. Moreira from the free-throw line. Well, that's 0 for 3, and if there's a time when Moreira doesn't want to have free throw struggles, it's now. 14 down with 3:27 to go in the half. They just need to get it back to a 10-point game, and they're right in it still.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on that kind of teetering point at the moment. The problem you've got is you've got Panicka and Slaughter on the floor for Poland, and that really is the killer combo for Poland. And I think for me, that's the difference. If you were to run the experiment and look at it, when Slaughter and Panicka are off the floor, it changes.
Well, he follows his own miss and gets the 2, so they end up where they thought they would be, and now they're up the floor. It's full-court man-to-man, really trying to force Poland out of what they want to run, and they've used up a lot of clock. Penetration inside-outside. Slaughter was open, but Panicka turns him down. Under 10. Again, that's exactly the second best thing for Angola. Get them deep in the shot clock. Kulik goes up, gives it Panicka, can't finish. That's a great series by Angola. Now they've got to run and try and score off that defense. Dos Santos will recover. Will take the ball screen. Gaku picks and pops. Well, they're in their own space. Moreira gets it where he wants it. Baseline jump shot is no good. Whistle on the play. And a foul called on Aaron Sell on the loose ball.
And you have to give Angola a lot of credit on that last defensive phase. They scrambled hard, they applied pressure, and then they reset. And what we haven't seen from Angola is before, when they've reset, they've almost stayed in scramble mode and overcommitted, whereas they kind of reset to a nice controlled half-court defense. And again, it paid off. They've come away with possession.
So Aaron Sell will sit as Poland go a little smaller as Kosarek checks back in. They're going to have to go long out of bounds. In the lane for 2 is no, they get it to drop. And Morea starting to become a factor here. Cuts it to a 10-point game.
And if I'm Coach Taylor now, this is the most scared I've been. Moreira starting to warm up is probably the biggest concern I would have had before the game.
Penetration, they wrap it inside, rotation will come off the foot. Good recovery by Moreira to get a piece of it. And Coach Taylor will take the timeout with 9 seconds on the possession, 2:15 to go on the half. He still leads by 10, but as you just said, Mark, there's some worrying signs for Poland, some positives for Angola.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to come down to, and I imagine 90% of this timeout is Coach Taylor and his, his assistant coaches. This is how we're changing to stop Moreira now. This is how we're going to change our interior defense, because at the moment, there's too many lanes for him to attack. There's too much space for him to go to work in. They need to lock him down. They need an increase in pressure, and if that means they need to double down on him, then they need to double down.
Balcerowski out the game just will create a bit more space, but Damian Kulik eats up space. But they are the last box out, penetration down the middle. You're right. It's Moreira is a long big. He's not one of those big bigs. It's wide and creates a lot of space and drive through people. But when he's got the opportunity to go, he's quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've said it numerous times. It's just the foot speed they need to deal with. And if that's the case, then just bring a double down. At the moment, we've not seen Angola play great team offense. So you're not going to see them pass away out of Moreira and move the ball quickly to catch you out. I think if I'm Coach Taylor, I'm confident enough that my team can reset and rotate out of a double in the low post.
Well, I'd say it's a great point. It's force Moreira to do something he doesn't want to do. Will he kick it out? Will they exploit any long closeouts? It'd be interesting. So Moreira's experienced enough to do that. Many years playing in great competition, great levels. So it's whether they can use him as a passer and an enabler as opposed to a scorer, as just a scorer. So out of bounds for Poland. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Coach Taylor's drawn it up. And Kulik is the release. Kulik fakes that, drops it into Paginka. A lot of people waiting for the shot. He does a great job drawing contact. We'll have to earn them from the free line. Moreira saying, hey, it wasn't me. Well, it was definitely someone.
And that's Moreira's third foul.
And it was Moreira, and it's his third foul, as you say. That's
heartbreaker. Just didn't need to reach. Sometimes you go, do you know what? We've been caught. Give up the 2 points. Let's go again another time. You don't pick up your third foul on that play.
Well, they're going to take him out. And part of me, there's obviously only 2:10 to go in the half, and it's his third foul. In the third quarter, it's going to come down what you're saving him for, because without him, I don't know if they can compete. So the free throw is good. Moreira will sit. And this is where people off that bench really have to step up. Gilson Bango will check in, and he's just got to get after everything on the glass. And Moreira knows, you can see the body language walking off, how important him being in the game is, and his frustration. You can feel it in every step he takes.
Yeah, and Bango's just 22 years old. He only made his senior team debut in the AfroBasket qualifiers in Feb, so it's a lot to ask of the young man, but hopefully he steps up for Angola.
Oh, great rotation by Slaughter of Poland in transition. He's just got to control it. Extra pass, Kazarek, where he earns a living from the three-point line. It's off. And numbers down the floor here, 4-on-3 break. Just find the open man off the glass is no good. And the whistle is going to give the ball.
Yeah, Kulik with the foul off the ball. He has a very subtle way of bodying players, and then sometimes not so subtle.
I'm not sure I saw the push.
I agree on that. His arm was raised.
Oh, no,
It's a tough call.
Yeah, I think there was a foul there, but not necessarily. I don't know who he pushed.
Yeah.
But, anyway, Angola on the baseline, go to the long side. Schiller in the lane will penetrate. They turn down the three. Never turns it over. And AJ Slaughter says, okay, guys, let's get into the half court. Let's increase this margin. They lead by 11. Ponika outside the three-point line as Basharic comes off the down screen, gets the ball screen. Nice look, but they just didn't make the pass. Ranchuk was open, but then really didn't hold his space. But there's a lot of action away from the ball. Poland runs some really nice stuff, and they just have to pick the right pass. Taylor takes the timeout. He leads this by 11 with 1:13 to go in what's been a fascinating first half.
Now, if I'm Angola, looking at the 5 that Poland have got on the floor at the moment, I'm going to go to a smaller lineup. Krasniuk is not going to be an offensive threat in the low post. They're not going to look to go to him all the time. Maybe go a bit small ball if I'm Angola, mix things up, because you're not going to match them, you know, straight up piece for piece. You need to disrupt if you can.
Lucas, as he's giving him the ball, you're cutting here, out to the 45.
in the game.
Damien, when he cuts off you here. Mateus, you're stepping
he's
up
37
and
now. Let's take a listen to Coach Taylor.
Out opposite side, and Mateus is rolling right back here. We're looking here, and again, shot fake him, get to the rim, finish strong, make it a 3-point play, okay? Hey, we need one stop on the defensive side down there, and let's come up the court. Come up the court. What do you guys want to run? Okay, 10-0 hammer, 10-0 hammer. Okay, here we go. Run it for Coach Art or AJ. 1, 2, 3,
Well, 10-0 hammer, Mark, normally means that it's going to be a corner or sideline 3 with some staggered screen action away from the basketball. I think Poland shoot the ball from that area of the floor as well as anybody. Great to hear Coach Taylor asking his team what they want to run. You know, he's got them options, and they're literally so bought in to what this team tries to do. Slaughter on the baseline, looks inside, and they get the 2. And Ponica wants the foul as well, but strong finish at the ring. Angola with some crucial possessions come the end of this first half. Need to keep this around the 10-point mark. Anything more than that, it's going to be a bonus for them if they're in the single digits. Here's Dos Santos. They line up the 3. Sweet as you like from deep. Diema again with that beautiful looking release.
Yeah, his 3rd triple of the night. He really has come to play and made a big impact.
Sorry. Well, they're going to delay it, then they're going to release. Cesar penetrates. There's the corner. The back screen for the 3 is no good. Got a whistle on it. Krasniuk has drawn the foul. I thought they'd caught it on him to start off with, but and fouls becoming beginning to be a worry for Angola.
Yeah, and Donyema with his 3rd personal foul as well. 2 players and 2 key players. That's the big thing, isn't it? The leading scorers, both in 3 fouls.
Yeah, the most consistent scorers they have. Nice cut, great execution, and back-to-back plays out of bounds. Same play, same result. Ponica dives to the front of the ring. He gets the 2. And Angola would love to finish the half on a score. Get it to a 10 or a 9-point game in the way they've played. Almost certainly a 9-point game if they make. Dos Santos on the dribble. Needs a pass. Well, steps in for a tough 2. Doesn't get the drop. Great work on the glass. And that'll do it for the first half. And AJ Slaughter picks himself up off the floor as Poland, applauded by Coach Taylor, have made it to the half-time break with a 43-31 advantage and are just about controlling this game.
Certainly been an entertaining first half, and Angola, they've lived by the 3-pointer, but the one that's crying shame, 13% from the free throw line, 7 missed free throws in that first half. When you're in a game that you know every point counts for you, that's criminal. And again, we look at the rebounding battle, Angola leading that one as well. 9 offensive rebounds for Angola in that first half. They know to shoot the ball, they're going to have to crash the boards hard. They're the positives you can take. But Poland, they're doing what Poland do well. 12 assists, they're moving the ball well. They're spreading their scoring as well. 12 points off the bench for them.
Yeah, it's the worrying thing. You picked it up in commentary. 9 and 8 points from Maria and Yema, and they both have foul trouble. Slaughter's just had, and Ponica have just had what they always bring you as quality. Let's take a look at the best plays of the first half.
And to a certain degree, when we look at this, it's the story that we expected, right? AJ Slaughter stepping up, being the real kind of firecracker on the offensive end. Really difficult to defend. Angola have thrown everything in the kitchen sink at him. They've tried to deny possession to him. They've tried to, you know, press him so hard and then wait for the help side to come across. It's not really worked for them in that first half. He's ended up with 14 points. And Panitka, again, it's difficult to think of a better player who plays off the ball offensively. the spacing that he has, the cuts and the timing of his movement is absolutely wonderful to watch. And that's really what's led to Poland's lead, alongside kind of the rise of their young big guy, Balcerowski, stepping in. Obviously had a great start to the game, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He really is lighting up the box score for them. So that kind of three-way threat from their perspective is what's enabled them to get the lead. Whereas on Angola's side, it's the three-point shot. That's what they've leaned on heavily. They've looked to keep themselves in the game from the three, but we were starting to see them go to Moreira. We were starting to see them go inside, which was great to see. 2 dimensions to their game, and then he picked up that third foul. And, you know, as you said, for me, Mark, it's how big is the third foul on Ndanyema and on Moreira? What impact is that going to have? And it's the timing now from the coach's perspective, right? That's for me. When do you bring those guys back in? Do you try and sit them for as long as you can if the game stays relatively close? Or do you put them straight back in the third quarter and hope they can stay out of trouble?
Well, I think you're going to have to play them because I don't think they have the options without them. And I think it's, you know, you're asking Moreira, I have no issue with. I think Moreira and, you know, to a lesser extent, Ndanyema, because they're both experienced players. They should know how to play. The biggest, you pointed out the free throw situation, and 4 of those misses are from Yannick Moreira. And if you're sitting down with your coaching team and you're going, oh, how the game's going to go, etc. 0 for 4 from the free throw line by Yannick Moreira is not on your radar.
No, definitely not.
He makes half of those. It's a single-digit game.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, that you're in it. And that face almost gives you all you need to know about Yannick Moreira, his performance in that first half. He knows he can play. He knows that he's got options. He needs to be in the game, not sitting on the bench. He's going to have to go the majority of minutes in the second half, and he's going to have to play with the 2 fouls. And the other thing, though, Mark, he's got the foot speed to contain whoever he's guarding. He doesn't need to foul anybody. But that'll do it for this first half. There were the best plays of it. Great performance by Angola to get back in it, but Poland exerted that control that we know they've got. And there's going to be some best plays. We'll join you shortly. Back for the second half. Get a drink and relax. We'll see you soon.
He's only got 12 points now, 4 of 11. 4 of 12, rather. Or 4 of 11. Joaquin. Oh, that's a nice play back on Starbus.
That's a nice pass. Oh, get out of my house, says Sochan, and he nearly kept it in bounds as well. Well, we have just seen the very best of Jeremy Sochan on both ends of the floor tonight.
Bounce pass, looking for Richard. It was ambitious, and Poland could come away here. Superb from Michalak. Can he finish? Yes, he can. That was outstanding from Michalak. How about this from Michalak, though? Through the legs of Kacek. A great layup to finish.
Great pressure being applied here from Romania. Here goes Sochan. Ducks all over him. 17 years of age, so what? Age is just a number. Talent is everything.
As Adams is losing the ball, and away comes Paolo with a dunk, and that is strong. He'll get the extra 2. And I think he's hurt. Watch this and wins.
We have walked this land for a long time. We know how far we've gone, and we're sure of how far we can go. Unity is not just a word here. It's not just a spirit in this sport. It's the way we all move. We are proud of our art, country, family, language, and culture. We are united by basketball.
Welcome to FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Well, Poland back out on the floor, and Damian Kulik. And Poland with the game leaders, Slaughter with 14 points, Michala with 3 rebounds, and Kostaric with 3 assists. And you know, he was saying in the halftime break, you know, he's at veteran stage now, but he always finds a way to help his team. So he has 3 assists. Poland have the 12-point lead. And we're going to hear from Coach Taylor.
Comfortable lead so far, 12 points up. The first quarter was pretty tight, but then you came up and dominated the second quarter. What's going to be key in the second half to win?
Well, first, it was a really good game to start off the tournament. Give credit to Angola for coming out and playing with lots of energy. We built a lead, then they fought back, and then I'm really pleased with the way our team responded. We stuck to our plan and, you know, did a very good job. We've got to do 2 things. On the defensive end, number 1, we've got to do a better job blocking out. You know, that's important every possession. They've got 11 points on second chance points, 9 offensive rebounds. And then the second thing offensively, we want a clear picture for each other with spacing against their pressure. We think when we do those 2 things, we can continue to build on our lead and finish strong.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Just have to love the way Coach Taylor, you know, the respect for the other team. He knows what his team needs to do. And AJ Slaughter's a great example of it. Everybody in a Polish uniform's on the same page, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Slaughter's kind of going to grab the headlines with 14 points in that first half, but Coach Taylor's absolutely right. Defensive rebounds, if they secure that, they should secure the win now.
Well, interesting to hear what Coach Pep says for Angola, because there are ways in that first half they really did show that they could compete here. And, yep, the work on the offensive glass was crucial. But, well, we all know now this team can shoot the 3. I think it's just their selection of which 3 to shoot is being decisive and just a little bit more balance. You've said all the time, Morea needs touches. And Morea's foul trouble is going to be a factor. And hopefully we're going to hear Coach Pep. Here he is.
Coach, tough first half for you. You controlled the game in the first quarter, hit some big 3-pointers. But then in the second quarter, you lost the game. But what is going to be key in the second half to try and fight with Poland for the first win?
Well, first we have to know that it's not going to be easy. So we have to be prepared from first possession until last second that every defense is going to be the next one. And every time we get a mistake, we got to forget and start to work on the next one. Because if don't, we have a bad run, and this team got a lot of quality, a lot of shooters, different weapons. So we just need to be prepared.
Obrigado, coach. Good luck.
Well, I think if you could extend what Coach Pep says, and we look at their game leaders, Moreira with 5 rebounds, and then Domiema with 9 points, and he also has 3 fouls. It's not just about every 24 seconds, is it, Mark? It's every minute, every possession. Every now and again, they'll just have a mental breakdown.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, no bigger was Moreira's 3rd foul. He should have given up the play. He should have accepted it. And Domiema picked up his 3rd foul as well. And it's not necessarily for bad reasons. They're trying to put energy and hustle into the defensive end, which as a coach, you'll usually give them, you know, a player a pat on the back, but they just need to pick their time.
So again, we get Aaron in.
Let's take a listen to Coach Taylor.
You're going dunker spot, Spaku. Short roll, pop. You guys are playing, okay? If we don't have anything, okay, second side, you got here, dribble handoff, you're turning the corner, empty side, empty corner, and then we got 61 in the middle. Even with Aaron, run 61 because you can pick and pop it, okay? 5 up. Hey, strong plays, defensive rebound. Let's go.
Jugamos en ataque. La primera, cuando pasemos, Aníbal no es Aníbal, es Lutonda. ¿Sí? Y cuando es Lutonda, el pick and roll es un offside. Y cuando pick and roll es un offside, el jugador del lado contrario corta para poste bajo.
I'm going to impress you a little bit now, Mark, with my command of the Polish language.
Okay.
Because as you heard, Coach Coach called Balcerowski Spako, which is Polish for bird. I mean, that wingspan he must have. You know, he's been flying in that first half, and it's great to see a young man grow into a role. And you know, he had great experience at the World Cup. Now he's a crucial part of this Polish puzzle, and the pieces that he brings to the team. It's great the way that he has developed, the work that Gran Canaria have done with him, and the work that Coach Taylor's done with him in this program. It's great to see that happen. Start of the second half, though. AJ Slaughter with the basketball, Poland with the 12-point lead, and they're into the half court. Slaughter will take a look at his options. Balcerowski, well, he slipped, gets the pass off the bounce, and then recovers it. Did a great job staying with the play. Needs a pass, steps through, does a great job at staying under control. Step back 3 is good. Hey, put it down to effort, put it down to composure, and at the end of the day, Aaron Sell knocks down the 3, but the bird just stayed with the play. Santos will move the basketball. Angola, got to keep it moving. Space it, move off the ball for each other. Penetration to a tough one off one leg, off the glass, and the bank is open.
Yeah, and interesting, you can't really criticise Panitka on that. That was perfect defence. It was just one of those where the O was better than the D.
Yeah, Baramba just kissed the glass for 2. Panitka to the corner, Slaughter in some space. And I think, how often, everywhere we go, any gym we're in, you know, I thought it stepped out of bounds, and they called the foul instead of the out-of-bound call. Sometimes you think people would remember where the sideline.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we moved the three-point line, right?
Exactly.
It's been a while. We should have become accustomed to it.
Slaughter on the sideline. Panitka is the man to release the pressure. And Poland are into that passing game again, and AJ Slaughter drops inside. Balcerowski, well, little hang time, almost double pumped it, but turns it over. Wide open, the 3 is blocked. What a recovery, but going to stay with the play. But goes up, off the glass, draws the contact, but will have to earn it from the free throw line. And Bango, the youngster, just got to finish that play.
But it's the right read, though. He's gone up and he's realised that, you know, 2 defensive players are absolutely at the ring. So he's made the correction in mid-air, so he's made the right decision. But like you say, in that situation, the difference between winning and losing is those kind of plays. You need to connect with them.
Sokolovsky picks up the first personal, and yet another. That's one for 8, 1 for 9 now from the free throw line.
Yeah, 1 from 9 from the free throw line. It's gonna, at this level, you just don't win games if you shoot that kind of free throw percentage.
You make half those, and you're in a 9-point game, not a 13-point game. And the second one gets a friendly roll off the front of the ring, and Wilson Bango. And Angola up the floor again. They're going to have to play 20 minutes like this, but they do not need to go for too much. Just contain the pressure. Balcerowski hits the weak side. Sel puts it on the floor and kicks. Ponika, second step for two is good.
And all of that stemmed from the fact, again, they're trying to overplay Slaughter. So people are having to try and help. Even when Slaughter's off the ball, people are trying to help and bump him, and they're moving away from their own assignments.
So Santos, the three is short. Offensive rebound is pulled in. Wamba goes with a lean away, doesn't get it to go. Sel with the defensive rebound, and the ball is in the hands of AJ Slaughter. Balcerowski gets it to Slaughter, and he kicks it. Nice pass to the inside, inside out. The extra pass, share it, everybody touched it. The three is short. Defensive rebound, that the Santos will push the basketball.
And the Polish offense at times is just absolutely beautiful. Selfless, correct passing, great spacing, just absolutely what as a coach you want to see.
Dos Santos. Turnover, sloppy pass down the other way, and Ponitka's gonna soft dunk it for two. Just a sloppy, soft pass, and Ponitka read it. They've gone pick and pop pretty much every time, so he just stepped into the lane, gets the easy two.
Angola needs to make the change now. The gap's getting too big. Moreira needs to come back in, and so does Ndonyeme.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Here's Dos Santos. Under five, gonna have to put this up. Tries to step through, a little lean through, doesn't get to go. And, well, if it's not a substitution, they're gonna have to time out pretty quick, otherwise this one will get ugly. Ponika, again, makes a smart decision, doesn't like the numbers, gets into the half court. Balcerowski puts it on the floor, will go to the middle. Little jump hook for two is no good. Dos Santos. Yeah, that's a backcourt. And that's just another sloppy play by Angola. Eduardo Mingas with the turnover, and Angola are forced again to take the early timeout. Balcerowski's still on the floor. Just can't get enough of the space he's being given by coach. Timeout for Angola. They trail this one by 16, and it feels like a big 16.
A ver una cosa, ya estamos a perder pases y estamos a perder tonterías. Vale, Michala. A ver una cosa, vamos a ver si hacemos las cosas bien. No te puede atacar un contra uno. Esto es lo que te hemos acordado la vez. ¿Sí? Después, cuando pasemos los 2 contra 1, después se sigue y no se para. Se sigue y no se para. Que así la vas a jugar de 1. Vas a jugar Lutonda. Vas a jugar un Lutonda, un Aniba. Un Lutonda, un Aniba. Tenéis que ser agresivos en ataque, mas tampoco podemos estar a lanzar a bola, estás lanzando patatas todas. Vamos a tener un bocado de paciencia para jugar bien. Cuando 5 bloquea 4, o 2 bloqueos, Casilla atentos, show, mira al lanzador ya, Vamos. Defensa, 1, 2, 3.
So, not a too out of control timeout by coach. Just, I think we're trying to reestablish him. You know, this is how we're going to get back in. This is how we're going to play. But the most important thing is getting the right people back on the floor, and still no Morea. I don't know, my view on this, I don't know if you save him, the game's gone by the time he gets back in.
What are you saving him for? Ndonyema's come in, but no Moreira.
Nice cut, spins to the baseline. Balcerowski goes up with a little sweet-looking jump hook for two.
The only thing I can think that Coach Claris is looking at is maybe when Balcerowski isn't on, less likely to pick up a 4th foul.
Oh, the early three the other way. Great work on the glass. Tremendous work. Gaku with the offensive rebound, needs a pass, drops it inside. Need a pass, they find one. The foul line jump shot is no good. And AJ Slaughter just does the right thing again, takes some air out of the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is what he's learned as the years have gone by. He's learned how to control the tempo of the game and understands how important tempo is particularly if you're a team like Poland, where the half court is your friend.
Balcerowski inside, outside. Black with the three is long, and that will be a long rebound, and Poland will recover. And Slaughter has it with a new 14. Just keep him in front of you. Stops, pulls the trigger on the two, is no good.
And that's great defense by Kashila. He's not overcommitted, he's put a hand in the face, he's made the shot difficult, and he's not been beaten. That's the key for them with regards to defending Slaughter.
Kashila at the other end, gets to the three-point line, needs a pass. Well, they've turned it over where the wide open layup was begging. And the two-handed throwdown on the end of the break.
And you've got to love that pass from Balcerowski. He's read his teammates so well. He knew someone would be leaking out, and he plays the perfect weighted pass.
Another Tofolowski. Turnover, and Slaughter going the other way. Drops it. Watch out down the runway for two. And Sobolowski with two with the back-to-back dunks opens this out. And we're looking at a 22-point game.
And Morea is about to check back into the game, you know, alongside Bastos, but it's too late at this point. 22 points, what can he do?
A 12-point game is now a 22-point game, and Morea comes back. And there's always a debate. If you've got people you can cover your quality big man on the inside when he's in foul trouble, fine, but trust him. And if you trust him, he might be able to stay clean for long enough.
Either that or you go to a two big man rotation. Keep Bango in the game and bring Morea in, and Bango plays defense against the big, and Morea steps out maybe slightly.
It's a reasonable option, but they don't look like they're going to trust them to do that. They don't need to worry about spacing and spreading the floor, because everyone on this team spreads the floor. Morea catches it, puts up the jump shot after getting Kulik off balance, and draws the contact, and we'll go to the free throw line where he's currently 0 for 4.
It's not necessarily the place where Moreira wants to be, but it's at least he has the opportunity to reduce this without the clock moving, if he can find some form.
I wonder who that was. checking in to watch some basketball. Slovenia practicing in the practice facility that's underneath the stands here at the Zalgiris Arena. It truly is one of the homes of basketball in Europe, this facility.
It's going to be great later this evening for the Lithuania game, where we actually, not going to be capacity, but there's going to be several thousand people in the stands, and anyone that's a basketball purist knows how much we've missed that.
And Malaya finally gets his free throw act on, and a whistle off the ball when everyone wants to have a little word about it. And Bastos not happy with Kulik. And the Emma is the man who stepped in. Now they realize that they're both not doing the right thing. They've just called double techs on both.
The thing is, Kulik's done the right thing there, because at the moment they're in control. The last thing you want to do is give motivation to a team. And they might use that, you know, against you. He's done absolutely the right thing to try and defuse the situation. But again, both players come out with the technical foul, and Kulik heads to the bench.
Kulik heads to the bench, and Ryan Nuke checks in.
Yeah, that technical was Kulik's 4th foul, so Coach Taylor not really a choice but to take his big man out.
Well, he's got the rotations, and he's got a 22-point lead. And 4 minutes to go in the third. Kosalek off the high screen. Will look to penetrate, but back out. Sokolovsky turns it over.
And with the 5 that Poland have on the floor at the moment, and with the changes they're making now, this is Angola's chance. This is where they need to get quick scores before Coach Taylor can react and rotate out. This is the 5 where Moreira and others within the Angolan roster can really start making some hay on the offensive end.
Well, Jakub Garbac, number 30, on the ball here. MVP of the league in Poland last season. So they've got some depth on this roster. There's a whistle on the play. 46-36, the Polish national team have the lead. They're in the penalty, so Angola will go to the free throw line. You mentioned there, this is the opportunity for Angola. I mean, the other factor is that both, we talked about this a little at halftime. That's Ponitka and Slaughter out of the game consistently at the same time. And your two biggest scorers as such. That puts a lot of pressure on guys coming in. It just shows you how much confidence that Coach Taylor has in them.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something they've gone through. I'm sure it's something that's a conscious decision that he wants to keep Slaughter and Ponitka together. He sees that combination as working well together. But like you say, the guys that come in to fill those shoes, both of you have to come in and step up straight away.
Angola up the floor, and that's not a surprise with this roster. They've got to expect that they can get Poland out of what they want to run. And Kozalek down at 12 seconds on the possessions before really Poland have actually been able to do it. And then the pressure has just made them run faster than they want to run, taking them out of their tempo to get the offensive foul. And Angola have got a chance to go back-to-back points, so stops and scores, get this into a manageable number before the end of the third quarter.
And it'll be interesting to see if Coach Taylor sticks to his guns. Clearly his rotation is to keep some of the bigger players on the bench, hopefully to well in the fourth quarter for them, but he may have to be forced into a change earlier if Angola can get their offense started.
Schiller gets it off. Foul line jump shot is way short. Ndonyema was almost looking for the foul as opposed to making the shot. And threw up the poor looking mid-range jumper.
And again, I don't know why there isn't any focus on the Angolan offense from Moreira. You've struggled offensively when he's not on the ball. Simple equation to work out. Let's feed him the ball, let him go to work, particularly as he's going against, maybe not the strongest inside presence from Poland.
Three was rushed. Again, Garbage with the bad looking three, and it's Poland's inability to get advantage without Slaughter or Ponitka on the floor that's a little worrying for them. Angola has got to exploit. But in the half court, Bastos mishandles, and Miguel can't save it. He steps on the sideline. Angola looking like they need something to happen here. Someone or something has got to ignite them, as they did in that first half. Moreira was the man then, he's probably the man again.
Yeah, they just need to put the focus on him. They need to build something and have an offensive structure that plays into his strengths.
Kozarek, it's an effort. And then again, trying to make a little faster than he wants to. Somehow they manage to recover that. They get the open three. And Zeskovsky, with his feet set and a lot of time, there's no way Angola should have not got the possession on that one. They had three guys around the ball.
And wonderful for him to hit the three. Became a dad at the weekend, so congratulations to him and his partner. Exciting adventure ahead.
The three has gone the other way. Great work on the offensive glass. A little travel, not called, chance to run. Chelak has it. Chelak just wants to score. He just wants to challenge the opponent. Kozarek backs it out, gets Poland into the half court. Ofsky puts it in the hands of Rayanuk. Back to back, same spot on the floor. Maybe he needs to mark that one. Miguel off the screen, but not looking to turn the corner. They go handoff. And Bastos goes inside with a pass. San Juan and Moreira. And you're in the wrong seat. You're in the wrong seat, Mark. You should be on the other side.
It's quite a basic thing to do, but yeah, you just got to give the ball to him. At the moment, he's the offensive threat. Throughout the game, he's the one that's looked like a consistent offensive threat. He's struggled from the free throw line, we know that, but he's still your best bet, particularly whilst Poland are rotating, to really carve into that lead. Sits at 22 points. If they can take another 5 points off it before the end of the quarter, they've got a chance. It's an outside chance, but there's still that slight chance.
Well, he's on the free throw line to make this a 21-point game. He's found his free throw touch. And you're so right, without Balcerowski in the game, even without the presence of Sel, you know, that Polish middle is a little open. Tyskowski gets it back to Kozarek, who breaks it down on the dribble. Poland will settle into the half court. Tyskowski out top, puts it on the floor with the left hand, gets in the lane for two, doesn't get it to go. Angola get the shot they want and a chance to get this under 20. Tough looking lean away in the lane. Great work by Morea. Well, if he's not going to get a pass, he's got to treat every shot as a pass to him, and he comes up with the offensive rebound. Kozarek. Select moves it in, and we got a whistle as Sosowski ripped it through.
Yeah, Bastos just caught with his hand in the cookie jar there, trying to get the steal, but smart move. And Moreira heads to the bench. I have no idea why he's taking Moreira out of the game, saving him for 49.3 seconds, unless he doesn't expect his team to have another offense, maybe. You can see Moreira's frustrated on the bench as well.
Well, I think it's one of those, you know, we'll get the quarter break, whatever, you're going to have to start the fourth, but, you know, with things that are as they are at the moment, it could be a 19 or 16-point game with Moreira in it. That's a travel. Yeah, they're going to call that. Great. Bring him back in is the option, but they choose not to. So Selton Miguel would advance the basketball. Poland in the penalty as well, so you've got to hope that Angola are the aggressor right now. Needs a pass. Miguel needs a pass, gets one. Bastos moves it on, gets it back, lines it up, puts it on the floor, goes inside off the glass for two is good. Good decision to be aggressive for Pedro Bastos.
Yeah, it's good to see, rather than just relying on that three, going strong.
So it's getting back to a manageable number. Nice pass on the inside. The little push shot is no good. Sosowski can't get it to go. That'll do it for the end of three. And that little run at the end of the third quarter gives hope to Angola. They close it to a 62-45 margin. And momentum going into the end of the third sits with Angola. They trail 62-45.
Yeah, shooting percentages, again, you kind of look at that free throw percentage for Angola and you just kind of think, oh, if they'd only hit 70-80%, how the game would be a lot closer than it is. Their three-point shooting is also starting to drop back, but still, 10 minutes to go, Angola's still in it.
Well, here are those best plays of the third quarter. That early in the third quarter was all about Poland. I mean, the play you've just seen was when Moreira has come back in, and when he was back in, he was hugely effective. And Poland went Slaughter and Ponitka in the game, Mark. Absolutely tremendous again.
Yeah, that starting five, that first five, it looks so strong for Poland, and I imagine as they progress through this qualifying tournament, you'll see more minutes for that starting five, because they are playing some beautiful basketball, but again, it comes down to that unity we talked about. That enabled them to open out that really big lead at the start of the third quarter and almost enable cruise control a little bit in the final moments of that third quarter. But Coach Pep took advantage, brought Moreira in, brought Ndomyeme in, and they've been able to chip away a little bit and give themselves just a glimmer of hope in this fourth quarter.
Well, just for a moment, it's... Oh, let's just take a listen to Coach Pep first. I mean, just for a moment, Oleg Balcerowski has had just a phenomenal game. The forecourt bounce pass, just beautiful recognition of them being able to execute the pass. He's back in the game now. And yeah, they've got a center presence now, which they haven't had before, and this is going to be fun for Polish basketball. He's only 20 years old.
Oh, it's exciting, and it changes the dynamic of Polish basketball. They've not had a dominant, like, true five in recent years, and now you're potentially seeing the rise of that, and how that could change it for them. That really could enable this kind of golden age of Polish basketball to take the next step.
Bastos First possession, all blocked. AJ Slaughter's back in the game. And another positive stat, just followed the penetration, picked up the poor lean-away shot, and gets the block. Poland into the half court. Ponika turns the corner, wraps it inside. Ostrowski drops it, and a foul. And the impressive thing is his awareness. His awareness and his balance. You know, Kazarek went baseline. He was able just to touch pass it to him. There you go. Just literally lets it come out of his hands into Kazarek. Here's the block from Slaughter.
Yeah, with Balcerowski, for 20 years of age, his understanding of the game, the reading of the speed of the game is very, very impressive.
Puts it on the floor with the right hand, penetrates, then we're getting an offensive one, and having built him up into something that was having a great game.
He must have heard us and just wanted to make us look silly.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Had the wide open look on the pass, turns it down. Defense gets there.
It's good D.
Yeah. All the contact on the torso. He's got to be able to stop and either shoot that or kick that off. And there's moments in games where you want something to fire you up. And that could well be that moment as Teotoni Doe, 27-year-old, getting some of his first action or trying to build some minutes. He's going to go handoff. Still no Morea in the game. Baseline penetration. There's a whistle as it goes out of bounds. And the penetration by Doe to nothing.
And what I don't understand is they're running handoffs at the top, and primarily you're running handoffs potentially to create a mismatch. They created the mismatch and then passed away from it. And just, you've done all the hard work, you've got what you wanted, capitalize. You know, Balcerowski's been brought to the outside to play perimeter defense against the guard. How are you going to make that pay? At the moment, they're just not doing that.
Whistle on the play, off ball. And holding foul. Morea's going to check back in. Yeah, Tony Doe steps out. Yannick Morea checks back in. Crucial part of the game here for Angola. If they are going to mount a comeback, it's got to be right now. We're going to have another offensive foul, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I'll be surprised if he wasn't in the charge circle.
Tough to see from where we are, but it's it looks. I think Panika's making that exact point. The look on his face tells you all you need to know.
Let's take a look. There's the penetration. Yeah, he's way inside the charge circle.
Yeah, that's a missed one there. But the thing you've got with this game as well is, even though it's the opening game of the tournament, because of the structure of this tournament, many people before this game were kind of saying, this is the game. For both of these teams, the winner really does put a foot in the semi-finals, and the loser is now left with, you know, a tough second game to try and win to stay in the tournament.
Oh, Morea can't secure it on the glass. Got a 5-on-2 break, goes upstairs, the touch pass out of bounds, and it all got a little cute and pretty. And the turnover as opposed to the highlight is what we end up with. And that's crucial for Angola. They're down 17 points. They have another shot at getting it to 15 or 14. They've got to build some momentum at the offensive end. They've had 2 offensive fouls called, taken 2 charges. So now, can they get things going at the offensive end? And there's a whistle on the play. And that'll be the 3rd team foul for Poland early in this fourth. So there are the ingredients there for an Angola run. They've just got to deliver it. And Morea surely has got to get some touches of the basketball.
To a certain degree, it's got to be down to Morea, though. He needs to be demanding the ball in the position. So at the moment, they're running screens off him at the top. He needs to roll and demand the ball. You know, he has the presence and he has the status within the team that other players should be listening to him. And you'd hope that they would.
So Bastos, who's had extended minutes tonight, drops it inside for the easy 2, and Morea gets the finish. Well, there's the score. Now they need another stop. AJ Slaughter gets it into the half court. Kazarek moves it on. Balcerowski a long way from the ring. Nice pass. Ponika gets the 2. Tough finish against the helping defender. Just had great body control. Gets the 2. Poland needed those just to settle it down a little. Another whistle. And that'll put Poland into the penalty with an eternity to go in the game. Just under 8 minutes left. And you really want to see Angola be the aggressor right now.
Yeah, the problem you've got, they're only shooting 47% from the free throw line. It's not necessarily...
But let's be fair, it was 1 from 8 at the
yeah.
half.
Oh,
so
it's looking a lot better. It's looking a lot rosier in the second half, that's for sure. Yeah.
Coach Taylor making sure that the official knows he wasn't quite happy with the call. And there's a handoff. Morale with the screen, he dives again. Opened up for Bastos. And it got all dark all of a sudden as 2 players came across to help. Balcerowski, you can see why Coach calls him the bird. His wingspan on that one just took away any option.
Yeah, daylight disappeared, didn't it? It was nighttime as he went in among the trees.
The option to get Morea another 2 as he gets it underneath the ring, puts it on the floor, is fouled, but it's called on the floor, but he will go to the free throw line because of the team foul situation. And Balcerowski picks up the personal.
And you just kind of, you're left sitting here thinking what could have been. If Moreira hadn't picked up that 3rd foul, could have had extended minutes. Would we be in a kind of striking distance position for Angola as they reach the last stages?
So as I say, the Slovenian national team that were practicing in the practice gym here, I've seen enough. They're on their way, Luka Doncic and teammates. Get the chance to, but they don't play till tomorrow. So one of the various permutations of this group, as Slovenia try to, after missing out on the World Cup, the Eurobasket champions from 2017 looking to make their way to the Olympic Games.
Yeah, and it's Angola first up for them tomorrow, so they'll be interesting to see what their thoughts are for the 5-10 minutes they've watched Angola in the flesh. I'm sure they've picked out some areas that they'll look to capitalise on.
Well, we're out again, good from the line this time, down to 15 again. Stopping the score on this one, starts to make things, let's say, just build some interest. Kazarek, thought he had about the opportunity to go baseline, turned it down. Konikcha again, penetration kick. Slaughter is off for the 3, got a whistle on the play. And Balcerowski feeling his nose. And Moreira's going to pick up foul number 4. There's the kick. It's the extended arm I think he's been called for.
Yeah, it's that left arm flailing across. It's slightly frustrating because you've got 2 big guys going for a rebound.
Yeah.
Arms are going to move, right? It's one of those that could have been given or could have been left, really, I think.
Kazarek is getting extended minutes this afternoon. Slaughter with the long 3 is short. And they hunt down the rebound. You got to say, great effort by Sokolovsky. They go upstairs. Balcerowski can't. That was a tough one. He wasn't really looking for it already. Angola off the glass. And Celt Miguel just went himself, gets the finish. And Coach Taylor's seen enough. A little run by Angola cuts it to a 13-point lead.
Great to see Miguel getting that kind of score. Many touting him and his brother. Obviously, his brother didn't quite make the final roster, but he did. 20 years old, bright future for the national team for San Miguel.
Well, he's at college in the US, isn't he, at Kansas?
Yes, Kansas State at the moment. Just
obviously got talent.
First year. Aaron Sell and Kulig now. You got 4 fouls, so be smart. Okay, now look. First thing, Moreira has 4 fouls. Okay, Moreira's got 4 fouls. Let's come up the court in transition. Push 5 wheel. Put the ball into Damien. Run your wheel action. Damien. They may double off the feeder. In that case, it's a perimeter. Perimeter. Instead of making your wheel cut right away, pop out, hold spacing on the backside. We can look to cut from the backside as well. Okay, so push 5 wheel. Next offense. Push right here. Push 4 flare. Push 4 flare. Take the hand off. Set your flare screen, Damien. Aaron on his backside.
Hey,
Stops on D. Stops on D. 1, 2, 3. Polska. Here we go.
Well, a sense of urgency in Coach Taylor's timeout. Yeah, obviously identifying Moreira's full foul mark, but Moreira's just got to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's the key, but you've got to love Coach Taylor. He's absolutely right. He understands that Moreira is kind of the key to Angola. We see Moreira taken out of the game, and you have to question that. 7 minutes to go. He's been one of the main reasons, even if he's not been directly involved, he's affected where the defense have had to cover to bring them back within striking distance, and now he's back on the bench. Yeah, he has 4 fouls, but, you know, like you keep saying, what are you saving these fouls for when the game's over and it's unwinnable?
And Balcerowski's out of the game, so he has all the advantage he needs. Here's Slaughter. It's going to be a surprise to Coach Taylor that Moreira steps out as well, because he spent his whole time out talking about him being in the game. Slaughter out top. Will get the ball screen from Kulik, who slips the screen, gets to the bucket. Great pass, but the block from behind saves it with 1.7 on the clock. You can't run it any better than that for Poland. And then the finish was a little soft, and the block sends Poland to the baseline.
Yeah, it was a good read in the end by Miguel to come from behind for that block, but it was a kind of get-out-of-jail move that Poland had executed that offense perfectly.
Well, 1.7 to get something. They've really struggled to prevent options out of bounds. Off the glass is no good. Secure the rebound and run. And Miguel has it. Chance to cut this to a 10-point game with the 3. Miguel penetrates again. Poor decision. Had no angle at all. Kulik comes down with it. Slaughter will take some time out of it again. And there's a decision to make. This is the guy you want making it if you're a Poland fan. Slaughter turns down the ball screen, picks and pops. Bosky gets it off to him. Slaughter with 3 on the possession. Skips to the hoop. Doesn't get the 2 to go. And Kulik somehow gets the offensive rebound. Bodies on the floor, and one of those is AJ Slaughter. You don't want to see that if you're Poland. Turnover, chance for Angola. Cut that to an 11-point margin, and Angola, with momentum, cut this to a 64-53 margin. And Bastos has 7, and Angola on the back of their defense, which is where they've got going all night. Get the 2, cut it to 11. Another stop now and get to single digits, so you know you're in the game.
Yeah, this is when nerves start playing a part for Poland as well. That's the key. Get it to single digits, and you're a Polish player. You no longer have that confidence, that swagger about you that you had before. You know, things start becoming a little bit more interesting as we get into the final stages. But like you say, just the defensive intensity, not overcommitting, making the smart, high-energy defensive play is what has enabled Angola to stay in most of the game.
An eternity left in this one, 5.5, as Slaughter is fouled 90 feet from the basket.
And this is exactly what we were talking about. He hasn't been out. Bastos there is obviously the occasion, the emotions overcoming, and the energy's just gone too far. Just stay in front of Slaughter, that you don't need to steal the ball. It's highly unlikely you're going to steal the ball. Just delay his progression up the floor and play good, true defense.
Well, both teams now in the penalty with 5.5 to go in the fourth. AJ Slaughter and Poland trying to manage this one now. You get the feel that's where they are. Their mindset is about managing the game. Ponika penetrates and will go to the free throw line, turn the corner beautifully. And we talked during their practices. Now he's a EuroLeague player at St. Petersburg, does have a great season as part of that team making the playoffs. And the 19-year-old that was at a Eurobasket 9 years ago has grown up.
Yeah, he really has. He's taken the leadership role, and he's not necessarily the most vocal of captains. You're not seeing him shout at people, but he's leading by example the way he plays the game. And you could see then he'd been frustrated in the last couple of plays, felt that he was fouled, kind of took it on his own shoulders rather than, you know, talking back to the rest. He just said, fine, I'm going to drive really hard to the basket, and you're going to have to call the foul. You don't have a choice because I'm going to make it so obvious that they're fouling me.
Well, Yannick Moreira comes back, and you've got to think that if Angola can keep Moreira in the game for the last 5:21, they still have a shot at this, down 13, but with the basketball. Miguel, out top. Looks down low. Mingas gets it back to him. Miguel gets inside, loves going to the ring, but that's another poor finish by the 20-year-old. Scramble for it, they're going to call.
It's got to be a foul call, I'm sure. I think it's a foul on Bastos.
We're going to take the long walk down the floor if it is. Yeah.
Panitka did the right thing here. As he fell, he kind of got his body on top of the ball, so the only way that Bastos was going to get to the ball was through him, which is going to get called as the foul.
I'm not really sure what Bastos is complaining about on that one, as Panitka, as you say, had his whole body between him and the ball, and Panitka's going to walk the floor to shoot the throws. He's just made 2 from 2. I don't think he's, as a free throw shooter, he is an exception. He's like an exceptional free throw shooter. Depending on which competition you look at, ranges between 85 and 90% from the line. And chance to build on his 17 points, which he does, make that 18 points. He just has great numbers. And Magildo dos Santos checks in, I think, for his first appearance of the night. He hasn't played very much. So on top of the free throws, Angola have compounded that with a technical foul, but coach is not sure who said what, when, but it doesn't really matter, as AJ Slaughter's going to step up and miss the free throw, so no damage done in terms of the score, but perplexed coach.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Slaughter hasn't scored in the second half. 14 points at the halfway stage and still on 14 points. Had a lightning first half, but hasn't really had the same impact offensively in the second.
Miguel moves it on. Demmer finds Miguel, thinks about the three. One of the few guys on this team who doesn't take the three as soon as he catches it. Moreira in the lane for 2 is good. And every time he gets that situation, it just asks the question of, you know, how important has his absence been? 68 to 55. AJ Slaughter picks it up. Kulik gives him a pass. And Poland are definitely in that protect what you've got mode at the moment. Panitka drops it inside to Kulik, who mishandles it. 3-on-1 break. They just have to make the right decision. Miguel off the glass for 2. Make that an 11-point game, and there's still time here. Over 4 to go.
Yeah, it's getting close, and again, it's through the hands of Moreira, gets the steal at one end and initiates the fast break. And like you say, 21 points in 20 minutes. You wonder what impact he'd have had if he'd have had an extra 5 or 6 minutes on the floor.
They go high to Kulik. Foul line jump shot is short. Chance to get this to single digits.
This would be huge. This is a big possession now. Single digits would be a real statement for Angola.
That's going to be an offensive foul. And Eduardo Mingas at 42 puts his head in his hands and says, me? Can't be me. Let's have a look.
Yeah, just drops the shoulder. That's a scrimmage screen. Yeah, that's not a game screen.
And I've got one of the most impressive things. I mean, officials at the moment, wherever you are in the world, that's the other great thing about what a world tournament demonstrates. Wherever these referees are coming from, Argentina, Australia, and Italy, the way officials are cleaning up the ball screen. It's the consistency is impressive. Got a whistle on the play. Panitka is just going to take advantage again. He's going to walk to the free throw line, having just gone 4 for 4. With another chance to open out this game.
Yeah, already on 18 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. Only played 22 minutes, as obviously the rotation for Poland has been quite deep here today. But yeah, the captain continues to impress.
Yeah, seems to be thriving on the responsibility. Makes the first. And goes 2 for 2 again.
20-point game in your 50th cap. Not a bad day at the office.
No.
For Panitka.
Jean Miguel checks out, and as good as he was at times, little inexperience came through in those last couple of possessions. 13-point game, 3:30 to go. Santos gives it up to Panitka, who now flushes it.
Yeah, wonderful finish from Panitka, and you can kind of see that's the cherry on top of the cake for him. You can feel like he wants to enjoy maybe the last few minutes now.
Moreira in the lane, gets swarmed around, double, triple team, now finds it again and gets two. Yannick Moreira pleads with the official for some help. And Poland, you've got to say, you mentioned AJ Slaughter hasn't scored in this second half, but they're just managing the game right now.
Yeah.
And it's with Panicka and Slaughter on the floor, you feel very comfortable as a Polish fan. You know your team's going to get what it wants. A lot of experience on the floor. Kulik will hand off to Slaughter, who turns the corner, gets into the three-point line and backs out. Turnover, having said how controlled they were. 2-on-1, Moreira is blocked. That came off the backboard.
Yeah, that's a goaltend. That's surely a goaltend. It hit the glass. Officials are saying no. Let's have a look. Maybe we're a fair way away.
Maybe we're wrong.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. No,
that's
we're
a
right.
goaltend.
That's a goaltend.
That's absolutely a goaltend.
And one of the great things about being here in Kaunas is it's like having analysts in every spectator. The basketball IQ of the fans, there's not many in the gym at the moment, is incredibly high. As Moreira just drops a tough two as he hits the deck. And all he keeps doing is underlining the quality that he has. Just over 2:20 to go. And Angola running out of time here, especially when you've got AJ Slaughter with a basketball. Kulik is fouled. And if you're going to foul, if you're going to reach, don't wait for 5 seconds left on the shot clock to do so. Kulik's going to go to the free throw line.
The thing that I find impressive about Poland, within this second half, their offense has absolutely slowed down. They're not scoring at the rate they were in the first half. But what they've realized is if that's the case, let's slow the game down. So it's going to slow down the overall rate. Angola are going to get less opportunities to score as well. So if we're struggling to score, let's just make sure that everyone's going to be struggling to score. And they have that ability just to, when offense tightens up, let's up the gears on the defensive end.
Kulik makes a second. So it's out to a 12-point game. And when you need to manage and control time, you go a little smaller. And Lukas Kusarek checks back in. So more of a three-guard look for Poland. Moreira extends and reverses the ball. We'll get a back screen, wants to establish in the post. And they're going to call the travel on the step through.
Yeah, back foot was just lifted a moment too soon. I think it was just due to the size of the step that he made that he had to lift that back foot just too soon. But he showed it there. The speed that he has for that size of player is phenomenal. And it's just a shame that we haven't seen more of him. You know, the foul situation has limited him this evening.
Kosarek into the half court. Sokolovsky moves it on. Kosarek again. To the corner, the extra pass. Step back from the three-point line is sweet for Miguel Sokolovsky. And timeout for Angola with only 1:39 on the clock. They trail this one 76-61 on the back of the Sokolovsky three. And this is what they were missing in the first half. Sokolovsky was incredibly quiet, but just a tremendous looking shot. And Angola, let's just say they're in a hole.
We're going to run cross, but on cross we're going to do it different. En cross lo vamos a hacer diferente. Vamos a hacer que 5 fase bloqueo y 4 fase bloqueo. Más ahora, si tú vas a ir primero, y ahora 4 también va a ir a poste bajo, y o 5 va a ir a poste bajo. Y vamos para el lado de Yannick. Le damos la bola a Yannick. Mingas, tienes que hacer un estilo del jugador. Cuando la bola llega a él, tú tienes que aguardar aquí. Ninguém pica aquí. 1, 2, 3, preparados, in and out, y lanzamos rápido. En defensa, tenemos que arriesgar. Si no le das ahora línea de pase, ¿cuándo vamos a hacer? Vamos. 1 minuto y medio. No, imposible, gallo, no imposible.
Yeah, for Nick has enjoyed his 50th cap, that's for sure. 22 points for him. And like you say, you see him relishing this
captain's role now as well, taking the leadership. As you see some of the young guns, he's no longer the young gun in the team. Balcerowski come in, and what an impressive start though for the 20-year-old. Obviously appeared in the World Cup in 2019, but had limited minutes, limited impact, and it looks like he's ready to make a much bigger impact now.
Well, so many of this team between 27 and sort of 34, so they're sort of in prime time.
Yeah.
And looking great at the moment. Des goes up with the jump hook, doesn't get it to go. And Slaughter and Kozarek will just look to control it. So what do they do when they control it? Bring out the big man, bring out the passer. Balcerowski now dives, down the lane and throws it down. And that probably gives you the full range of his skill set. Guys put on an impressive show at the 5 spot. Down the lane, slashes through the help, throws it down. A little hang time for the bird.
Yeah, absolutely, and really fitting that we have that kind of play to close out the game. And you know, he's had a huge game, and the way, it's not just his individual performance, it's the way he's fitting into this Polish roster and their structure of the way they're playing really complements it. You've got to give Coach Taylor credit.
Morea gets the easy 2 on the little back screen play. Where's that been? And Morea's had a nice game. Yannick Morea underlines his quality. Kozarek and Slaughter will try and manage out this last minute. Kozarek gets it almost stolen, but recovers it. Balcerowski for 3. Hey, I dunked it last time. I haven't shot the 3 since the first quarter. Let me remind you what I've got in the locker. Knocks down the 3.
Got it all today, that's for sure.
Turnover. And Poland running out now. 18-point margin with the basketball. Kozarek to the corner. AJ Slaughter, 9 on the possession. We'll put this one up. Takes a little step back and knocks the 2 down. And the Polish fans who've made the trip are enjoying a 20-point win. Last 10 seconds of an impressive first game. Got a foul on the play. Which Alex says, hey, if you're going to play, I'm not going to let you lay it up. And he takes the foul with just over 4 seconds remaining on the game. I think the phrase "job done" sums this one up for Poland.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, going into the game, clearly Poland were favourites. They're in the ascendancy after their performance in the World Cup. There's a fair bit of hype that sits around this team now. But you still have to back that up. And that's what they've come and done here today. You know, this could have been a banana skin for them. This could have been a real thorn in their side. They've dealt with the game well, even when Angola showed some grit and some fight back into the game. They've managed just to keep them at enough of an arm's length that they didn't feel overly worried by the situation.
So that will do it for game 1 of the FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament here in Kaunas, Lithuania. Mike Taylor in shot and Poland have got the win. Businesslike, efficient, effective, and with some real quality. They get the win 83-64 over Angola.
Yeah, it's good to see some of the Polish fans as well, like you say, making the journey. Not the easiest time to make a journey, but they definitely add to it. They were sat behind the Polish bench providing support. And job done. You see the shooting percentages. Poland shooting well from outside. In fact, shooting well across the board. Angola started well from outside. Free throws were a problem for them. But that's one of the big stats that you'll see. Poland 26 points from turnovers. Angola turned the ball over 20 times in that game, and it's really tough to win any basketball game if you're not going to protect the ball.
Well, Ponika, Slaughter, and Balcerowski all the way through the game were the 3 leaders for that Polish team. Morea was impressive, and you've got to say, you know, Angola had opportunities to stay in it, but it was just job done. Poland from minute 1. This is how we play. This is what we do. They've grown since the World Cup, and that's not good news for the opponents in this qualifying tournament. So they'll walk off the floor feeling very good about themselves. Great win for Poland. Mark, these best plays, I think, are going to clearly demonstrate again that the style that Poland put on the floor. They punished any sloppiness, they were efficient with the basketball, and they got great rotation. No one was overplayed.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing we've now got with Poland, and I'm impressed the way that they've made this transition. They're no longer the underdog team. They're no longer the team that have to come in and disrupt other teams. In games like this, they have to come in and assert themselves and really display confidence and dominate the game, and that's what they tried to do. That's absolutely clear. Offensively, that first phase of the game, we saw them moving the ball really well. They stayed with their offensive structure. They played selfless basketball. They didn't get carried away when they got a big lead. Even when Angola came back at them, they kept their composure. They understood what the mechanic was. We slow the game down. You know, you referred to it. We maybe move to a smaller lineup that can protect the ball better and hold possession better. They played that kind of favorite role really, really well. And it's only recently that they've kind of been seen as that in the international scene.
Well, now they've added some, and let's not get too carried away. Oleg Balcerovski's not the finished product yet, but they've now added some quality on the ins, real size, mobile size, and it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, how, you know, the youngest, alongside Lucas Kolenda, those two at the 2020 run rate. The rest of this group, 26, 27, 30, up to about 34. They've got a lot of options, and they're very comfortable as a group. And at national team level, where you come together so infrequently, having that feel, having that confidence in each other, including the confidence from the coach and your confidence in the coach, they're an interesting prospect. In terms of, can they be the team that comes out of this group and surprises, let's say surprises some more fancied opponents?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right to pick up on this idea of almost generational. You know, you said it in commentary that this Polish roster now are what you would say the majority of them the peak of their powers. It's do or die over the next, say, 4 or 5 years that they've got to pick up. If they want to claim a medal in one of the big tournaments, this is the moment they're going to do it. But it's great to see, like you say, 2 of the next generation coming through, and particularly in Balcerowski, not just coming through, he's starting 5, and he should be starting 5. Absolutely, you know, it's not, oh, we're just mixing it up, we're trying to change our rotations, and we've actually got stronger front court players sitting on the bench ready to go. He clearly should be there.
Well, there's the table after the first game. Obviously, Slovenia haven't played yet, will play tomorrow. Poland with the win, Angola at the bottom. Don't forget the top 2 will progress to crossover semi-finals against Group A, first and second, and then we'll end with a winner-take-all final on the last day here on Sunday. So impressive by Poland, great job by them.